There's quite a bit of area these two Hikvision cameras are trying to cover. And quite frankly, if something actually happened here, it'll be impossible to see anything out of these cameras. And that's why we typically go in here and drop something like a AI Pro, a couple of them as replacements. And additionally, we'll have to go and place cameras on each of the buildings facing the parking lot, which will mean cabling and labor. Basically means a bunch of cost. So that's why I got my hands on one of the most advanced UniFi Protect cameras. It's large, it's heavy, it has 22x optical zoom. So we'll see what it takes to mount this AI PTZ and if it can really replace multiple cameras. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Bogdan Chverny, founder of Apex 1IT, and we do camera security like for this customer, this church and school campus. This AI PTZ, this is the black version. It's really a replacement for the G4 PTZ Industrial. Even this outline looks very similar. Although I guess it's really an upgrade actually because it has AI detections, it has a new processor for that, which means it can do things like license plate reading, face detection, and also at a lower cost. I don't know how they keep doing that, but almost with every generation, they keep reducing the cost, increasing the features, so that's pretty nice. In this video, I'll show you exactly what this model can do, how the image looks like day and nighttime, what the AI detections look like, and also the patrol mode. So that will help you decide if this will be a good camera for your deployment. Okay, I have not opened this yet. Let's take a look. It's kind of a massive plate right here. Install guide, hardware kits. Okay, those are some massive, looks like wood screws, quite large anchors, and we'll see how to use all the rest of this. And this looks like the wall mounting bracket. Man, this is a huge camera. It's all metal. I mean, I don't know, it's like 5 pounds, 2 pounds, something like that. Okay, so this is a table stand, indoor only. You can see what that look like. That's pretty cool. So nice way to test it out. Or if you just need it indoors. Another hardware kit. It's almost the size of a small network rack switch. Finally, looks like the camera itself. It comes in at about 9 pounds, just the camera itself. It looks like when it's not powered, it kind of freely moves around. You can hear the mechanism churning there. It is roughly 8 inches wide and supposed to be something like 13 inches when you have it with the bracket. And even with this kind of open lens design, it's supposed to be IP66 rated, and it should operate up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, with that, it has a field of view varying from 64 degrees horizontal to 3, right? As you go further out to that 22x optical zoom, you'll get that 3 degrees field of view. So it's not that wide to begin with. If you know, other ones are typically something like 100, 110 degrees. And this part that they had covered with the plastic is a glossy black. You can get 4K resolution out of this at 30 frames per second. And it has that 1/1.8 inch sensor. So it should be good, pretty good for nighttime. It has IR rating a little bit higher than the original G4 at 330 feet. All the advanced AI detection, so not just your vehicles, but vehicle color, license plate, faces. I don't think this has a microphone. It is powered by PoE++. So this is a plastic housing, some kind of plastic here. And this is feels all metal. Yeah, so this is for pole mounting. And it does have 2 giant clamps. Okay, so that's for a large pole. Okay, good. It has some smaller ones because that's what I think I need. Okay, nothing else in here except the kind of regulated paperwork there. Just to recap, it has that desk tabletop stand. It has the surface kind of wall mounts and the pole mounts. One thing it's kind of missing is I do wish what would have been probably nice is a corner mount as well. Maybe they'll make that as a separate accessory because that would also have to be pretty beefy, right? Because you can take advantage. If it's on the corner, you can take advantage of like a full 270 degrees. On the pole mount, honestly, will be best. So that's what we're doing. We'll get essentially a full 360. Okay, some kind of a split grommet for the Ethernet cable, I'm sure. And then some screws with some Loctite on it. Okay, that must go there. Okay, so these are just actually extra. There's one grommet size for one hole size, which would go in like that. Or you replace it with the smaller one. Okay, so that sits in there, and then this will go on top. So that's good to know before we actually go up there to mount. Okay, so it looks like we'll feed these through to the pole. Okay, so that's actually 1.75, so 1 3/4 inch diameter to 4 inch diameter. So I think we're good. The pole we're using should be roughly 2 inches. Okay, so when we secure this down, so you want to actually place it in all the way. It has these kind of wave grooves. Once the cable is actually in there, and we'll tighten that down. And it seems like this is the right side up. All right, so this slides off. If you're using the smaller diameter clamps, you actually go through just this one centerpiece, not the two that are on the outside, just because that's designed for a small diameter pole. Okay, so see how that goes through the inside. And just a quick, put in a bunch of my weight on it, and it's not moving at all except the pole itself. So I guess that's a good sign. We're going to mount this main bracket onto our pole mount. And recall we got these four from our large hardware kit, not from the smaller one. We will use that later too though. And these are, they look like 13 millimeter if you want to use the sockets or just Phillips head. We're going to slide this on and then secure it at these 2 points with these screws, and that's a hex 3/16. All right, it's gonna go through the top. Got a cable there. Slide it on. Okay, you see that? Okay, I'm a little short here where I'm standing, but let's get this guy in here. First this cap or nuts, then this guy. And choose the correct size of these. So this is the larger one, you have a larger Ethernet cable here. And I think after we connect the camera, the actual lens will tighten this nut up. Okay, I'm about to bring the camera, but you want to grab this. This is going to be installed from the top down, kind of at the edge right here. Okay, and you'll see it pops out right there, right at the front. Here's the dot that we're gonna find on the camera lens itself, and then there's the locking mechanism. So we'll put it up and twist it clockwise. Okay, let's finish this. This is the top cover. It's that same hex. So we have 3 of these. Well, first this little safety guy is for this cover. Nice touch. This should just lay on top. Okay, check that out. So we are live now. Camera's pointing straight at me. We zoomed in. It's probably not meant to focus so close. And this thing is quick. Let's get back to the studio. I'll let it run a little bit and then I'll show you what we can do. It's been about 4 or 5 days since we installed the AI PTZ. So I just want to give you the features, performance, kind of what you can expect out of this camera. We'll go over, the AI detections, but also patrol, PTZ, zoom, all that control. Let's just get started with first looking at face detections. First, as I just recall when I was looking through just an hour or 2 of this camera running, I was just surprised of how many detections it can capture and how far. So let me give you an example. So this is my face, obviously. Here I'm at, what was this, 275 feet. Let me zoom that in. Yeah, so this is me about 265. To the back of that fence is like 280 feet. So you can see, let me go back. So that distance, no problem. It captured me even with my sunglasses and related all that to the same person. Okay, then I went over to kind of the maximum distance I could. This is 350 feet, and you can tell it's actually moving by itself. I'm just looking at the view straight from my phone. And it's moving around because it kind of follows persons around and zooms as it needs to. There's my face. So you can notice what happens here, closer in, and if I filter to other cameras, I'm only looking at the AI PTZ right now. But other cameras closer in, they might have a sharper image. These are all fine to me, right? Very clear. These ones now, this one I was moving faster, actually jogging. And this last one that we just looked at, 350 feet, you can tell it does some kind of like smoothing, just doesn't have as much detail. But it still paired this all to my face automatically. I do have a lot of data on here of my face, so maybe that's why. On the other hand, it does capture, like I said, so this is the good thing of it. The bad thing is it captures so many faces and sometimes low quality because it captures them so far away that it starts to group people together that are not the same person. Okay, so I looked at other ones. I just can't show you for privacy reasons, but other people, where it's basically every single image is like a whole different person. And it's just grouping those people together for whatever reason. And you could go through and start saying, not this person, to kind of help finesse it to have the correct person. So hopefully maybe that can be a software fix where you can set a threshold how much it has to match in order to be counted as the same person. But otherwise, if I just look through, find anything, faces of the AI PTZ, it's still good to have all that information, whether or not that person is combined together. What I would like to see, for example, the same one that we just looked at, you can have different preset locations. We'll jump into that here in a minute. But if I could define for each preset location whether or not I want face detections or even designate the areas, that would be sweet. Because then I could say, hey, if it's already this far out, maybe I don't care about the faces there. And that way, that would also improve how the faces are kind of compiled together per person. Similar kind of thing that happened with the faces where I got so much data. Same thing with license plate detection. So I would say it's pretty nice to have, but you'll have a lot of information to go through if you're looking for something. The other thing here is I just, first of all, didn't have time to check all the accuracy of how accurate all those detections were. But when you're in patrol mode, meaning it's jumping around between presets, it is capturing all the cars, license plates, even if it's stationary or not. And I'll also show you that here in a minute. First, let's look at night detections. In general, with night vision, you just won't get, as many license plate readings, or if any, because you really do need the ambient lighting or you need a dedicated LPR, like the AI LPR. I was surprised with what it can do with faces at night though. So this guy here, he was captured during the daytime, no problem. And you'll see here at night, this was 8:20 p.m. This is in California. It's shifted already to nighttime. I would say that's pretty good. So through IR, it captured him and actually related it to the same person. Like it understood that even though this was daytime, nighttime, and that's not in color, it recognizes that's the same person. This, by the way, is at about 150 feet. I checked that footage. In general, of course, you'll get less face detections at night, just FYI. But if you have enough ambient light and the IR built in, you're close enough, kind of within that 330 feet that's rated for, you should be able to capture some faces as long as it's probably not moving too quickly. Okay, now in terms of just general night vision, let me show you what that looks like. You should know that it has IR emitters that essentially are designed to work at different distances. That's how it gets this 330 feet-ish night vision rating. So that gate back there is about 230 feet, okay? 230 feet to the back of the gate. And you'll see as it's kind of dark there, as it zooms in, it auto-adjusts, and now this image is exposed correctly. You can actually see good detail. And even further back there, you can see a fence, a house. There is some ambient lighting here. But I would say that is pretty good. And here's just another clip. So this bump here is 160 feet. That's 275 back there. That's where I was walking earlier. And you can just tell that you can see everything that's going on there. Now, let me show you the controls in full screen here. So right away, you'll see it's getting detections. That's right here. So I just have it enabled for person and vehicle, balcony face, and license plates. I also have shortcuts here right on view, and you can enable that for mobile as well, or disable it. This is where you can enable auto tracking to track a person, and also smart zoom to track them in the best, clearest view possible, as it says there. You can also enable mouse control right here to click and zoom with the scroll wheel, but I like to use keyboard shortcuts. So you see you can zoom in with I and O or reset to your home position, which is the same as clicking this, and that's done in settings. So I can zoom in right with I, and now I'm not locally here on the local network, but over the internet. I can also click this plus sign to see my optical zoom level and just set that as I want to. But the fastest way to show you just how fast this camera moves and zooms in is with presets. So I have these already predefined. You move to the location you want, just click S to save. And now Let me give you something that's really far away. So it uses it right here, 22x. Just watch this move. You see that? So it's focused. I can see the heat. It almost looks like off the road here. But that's really quick. I can also use the keyboard, just punch in a number to navigate where I want to. So 0, for example, will get me to the south entrance. So it moves over first, and then it sets the zoom level as it needs to. And I can actually check here what it is. So at this level, it's about 14x. Just to show you that one more time. So if I click 9, we'll get 22x right now is going to go in. And by the way, that sign right there for sale home is something like 600 feet away from the camera. And I can actually make out the phone number. So, and the name there, Chad. Okay, so this is all very cool, right? I can click around, move around real quick, but the power I think comes in with this PTZ is with patrols or patrol mode. So this is one I already pre-configured, and it's essentially kind of like someone sitting behind the PTZ all the time. But you can set all the different presets you want, rearrange them, and it moves to that preset from 10 seconds to 60 seconds, depending on how you want to set that. And so you can just click play and it'll bounce around to all the presets and capture a lot of data. So for example, I can be here in the parking lot, and typically, right, it'll capture the license plates maybe of these front 2 rows and it won't get the back. But you can have a preset that zooms in on that, and that way you'll actually gather more LPRs, and same thing for faces and more face data as well. So what this means, this is an example right here. You see how during different times of the day, this was like 4 minutes apart, it was patrolling and it's capturing a ton of LPR data as it did this vehicle here several times. And I'm not even showing all the times it captured this car. So it can be both good and bad. The bad thing, of course, is when you're looking through license plate readings, you'll get a bunch of redundant kind of license plate readings. Although, if you're in this view and you have it under a specific license plate, it will, try to combine them all together just like it does with faces. However, I actually like that I can do this because kind of more data is good as long as you have the tools to find what you need. So if someone was skipped with my license plate reader at the entrances, or they didn't have a front plate, something like that, putting it in patrol mode all over the parking lot or all over the campus, can still capture that car and you can still have data on it. So if I just went back and searched for some, even if you didn't have the whole plate, maybe you had a partial plate, you can see if it was on your campus. For example, here, I just typed in ABC just to see if a license plate popped up, and it did, right? So this particular truck just happened to have those 3 characters in its license plate. And so that's how you can use it to actually just find, hopefully, the car you're looking for. One last thing with the AI PTZ is its integration with Alarm Manager, which is kind of like your notifications, really it's integrations, automations here. So I'm right here in Alarm Manager, and if we go to, for example, I made these 3. And what's happening here, let me give you an example. My trigger is a certain activity, and you can make it Face ID, license plate reading. For this one, I found it best to be a line crossing that I have set up already for a person. Okay, so the line crossing is for a person. It's off a G6 bullet, which is what I enabled here. It's when someone passes through the gate there, what you can do with the PTZ is set a preset or patrol. So you can enable or disable patrol. So right now I had AI PTZ is set to a certain preset that it goes to, and it goes there for 10 seconds. So you can do up to 1 minute. And you'll see, I'll show you a clip of how this works. Pay close attention. So right now I have it set up where it was just triggered, and right between these 2 buildings, you'll see that's me in a white blue shirt, and I just triggered it. And so the 10 seconds kind of starts now. It's already in motion, this PTZ. So let's click play. So you'll see, and it's already been going on for like 2 seconds, and it's zooming in more on me because it saw it's a person, so it's doing its little self-tracking. Okay, and that was actually it right there. So because I only did 10 seconds, so I probably want to do a bit longer. I would say this is quite a useful feature I didn't know about initially, because if you have some kind of sensitive area, people can't walk through, certain cars maybe can't drive through. I still have a fixed camera here, right? That's how it triggers this. But now my PTZ that's hundreds of feet away can actually zoom in and capture this precisely, as though someone's actually sitting there If you want some of that functionality of the AI PTZ, but you just can't justify $1,300 on a camera, or maybe 22x zoom just doesn't make sense for you, then Ubiquiti did release the G6 PTZ, and that's supposed to have 10x hybrid zoom. I'm not sure what that means yet, but I'll get my hands on it. We'll review it. Otherwise, they already have a G5 PTZ available for a fraction of the cost, $300. And that's this guy right up there. You can tell much smaller. It also comes in white or black, and you can watch that video here. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments about what I covered today, post that in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.